This is Toya with Saucepans and Stilettos, and as promised, I'm going to give you my easy take on how to do chocolate covered strawberries. Now, I use white chocolate because I don't eat regular chocolate, but you can always substitute for the regular chocolate if you'd like. Now, what I have are 2 tablespoons of shortening, and I know many of you haven't seen shortening in a very long time, as I haven't, but it works well with actually allowing the chocolate to melt. So I'm going to use that. Okay. So I have 2 bags of 12-ounce white chocolate chips. And as I said, you can use the actual dark chocolate chips if you like. I'm going to place those in my bowl. Okay, I also have, just for a garnish, and you can do just the regular chocolates if you'd like, but what I did was just purchase just like 6 little packs of peanuts from the dollar store, really cheap. It was $1. And I make my own crushed peanuts because sometimes it's so much more expensive to actually buy the crushed nuts in the store. And I just place them into a Ziploc and just beat them up. So that's basically what I did, and actually placed them into my bowl. I also have just a package, and you'll see these next to like your sprinkles and everything that you use next to like the cakes and the cupcakes. And I have some sprinkles that actually have some fun little hearts for Valentine's Day, and they do have chocolates in them. As for the strawberries, make sure your strawberries have been cleaned and dried, because they really need to be dry so that the chocolate can adhere to them. And you can do one of 2 things. You can take parchment paper and actually place it on your counter or on a plate after you've dipped your strawberries, and actually place them on the parchment paper. But for a look that doesn't have actually a matched inside on it, that's going to be ununiform, you can use bamboo skewers or you can use toothpicks. In this case, I repurposed an egg container, and I have a lot of little forks, so I just poked the forks in there and just did it that way. So the method that I'm going to use to melt the chocolates is called the double boiler method. Now, there's an actual thing called the double boiler, but I don't have one. And so what I'm going to do is use my bowl, and I'm going to go over to the stove at this time. I'm going to place the bowl over on top of the actual pan that has hot water in it. You don't want the water to be boiling. You just want it to be hot. And you do not want the bottom of your bowl to actually touch the water. So I'll go over and actually place this in. And as you can see, it's very little water. But we do want the steam to actually melt the chocolate. And so what I'm going to do is actually turn it up just a little bit. And you want to make sure that you stir it the entire time. So it's going to start to melt soon. And like I said, the shortening actually does help the process. And so as they, when they say never watch a pot of water because it won't boil, in this case, you definitely need to watch this because you want to make sure your chocolates actually don't burn. And so as you can hear, the steam is coming up because I've turned it up some. And they're actually starting to melt. And I just find that using a wooden spoon actually works better for me. You can also use a glass bowl if you have one that can actually sustain heat. So I'll give this a minute. And ladies, this is something fun you can do with your guy before Valentine's Day. You don't necessarily have to wait to Valentine's Day to do this. You don't have to only do it on Valentine's Day. So it's something that's really inexpensive. I went to the mall a few days ago, and Godiva Chocolates actually had a few strawberries, like chocolate covered strawberries for like $12, $13, $14, which was kind of expensive to only just get a few. When this recipe actually does a whole pint. Even though for time's sake, I'm not going to do a pint of strawberries tonight. And so as you can see, and Chelsea is my videographer for the evening. She's doing a wonderful job. And we are practicing with this. So if it's a little wobbly, it'll get better as we go. And one day I'll be able to hire a professional to actually do my videos. But right now we're keeping it in the family. Thank you, Chelsea. And as you can see, it's melting wonderfully. So as it starts to melt, I'm just going to turn the heat off because I don't want to scorch it. And it's very smooth. So I'm going to continue to stir this. I really could just stick my finger in there like a kid waiting on finish the cake batter. I could just, it's like my grandma used to say, I could go to town. Okay, so the consistency is great. If you try to do this without the shortening, it wouldn't be as good. So what I'm going to do at this time is actually remove it and go back to my counter. And we'll start the fun process of actually dipping the chocolates. And I'll clean my space real quickly. So what I want to do is, because I have the fork in there, you could do the same thing with your bamboo skewer or with your toothpick. I want to get it a little close. So what I'm going to do is take it and dip it. I'm going to roll it around in there. And you want to kind of beat it on the side and just place it. Now I'll do another one and I'm going to put some nuts on it. And the trick with the nuts or the sprinkles is to take your berries, and I'm going to make sure I get more of the crushed ones that are at the bottom, and just dab them in there. And if it falls off, it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. And it's just going to fall and rest the way it rests. And I'll do the same for the next one. Tap. And I'll actually do this one in the sprinkles. And I'm just going to press, press, press in the sprinkles. Okay. And there you are. It's simple. They're pretty. And they're actually going to mold and dry. And what you can do is actually place them in the refrigerator, or if you have space in your freezer where they can actually cool faster. And here you have it. So once they dry, not only are they going to be delicious, but they're going to be pretty. And what I will do is take a picture and post it later on the actual dried products. So thanks for joining me.